All right, guys. Happy Sunday, or actually Monday. Happy Labor Day. We're gonna get into talking about the markets, looking at a few setups, and just going from there and kind of get ready for this week. So first things first, I've been pretty absent, not active the past week. Had to have an emergency surgery on last Sunday, and then got really sick as a result of that, and then had to go to the hospital again. So last week was really crazy. Feeling a lot better. Actually able to sit at my desk now, and kind of look at the charts as normal. So back on my normal setup, and looking forward to trade this week. So taking a look at the markets, didn't miss a whole lot last week. There wasn't too much going on. Um, we can see we pretty much stayed pretty close to the range of what we had traded previously. So I'm going to mark this high because that's going to be a key important level that we may run into. And I'm just going to mark this as 70 and use that as the value. I know it's a little higher, but it's quite all right. So then if we're also looking at this from another perspective as well, you can see here. So um, looking at the charts, we are consolidating, creating a bull flag. Weekly chart doesn't have too much to talk about. There's not too much to discuss there. And then we go to the 4 hour, okay? And this here, we're getting some buy signal or early buy signals. I'm working on putting these in for the chat, for the subscribers to the algo trader package, but these are early signals. Basically what they are, they're looking for moments in time before like everything's setting up. We just need that kind of swoop, you know what I mean? Like the momentum shift, right? And that comes from a few different things. And so it's missing a few components, but it gives you like, oh, hey, okay, this everything's setting up. All we need to do is get some buyers here, and this will be off to the races. Kind of here's a prime example. So you can see here, kind of waiting on momentum, we get that shift. So it gives you a really good risk to reward entry if it works out. Sometimes it will just continue to roll over, but a lot of times it's pretty effective. So working on putting those in for you guys. Been back testing those, and definitely not as effective as the regular signals, but they help you get in a little earlier, which is going to help your risk to reward. Okay, enough of that. Let's take a look at some other stuff here. So 4 hour, we've got this squeeze here that building up looks excellent. We've got green trend bars. We're above recent or previous resistance, which was right here at around 55.85, 86-ish. So I think as long as we remain above this level, the 4 hour 21, we're looking good. I think what I'm going to be personally looking for is if we can get a pullback here. I'm going to set the alert right now. If we can get a pullback to this 9 EMA, in between that 9 EMA and 21 EMA, get a pullback into there, I would love to take an entry there and or sell some put credit spreads at this 55.85 area, looking for price to hold and potentially continue upside. Now, as for the other setups we've got here, we've got some buy signals here on SPX 2 hour. So you can see we've got a little bit of a slingshot going on here for the SPX. And then we also have a 1 hour buy signal that is printing as well. So into the close on Friday looked good. I don't want to chase it. I think the main thing I want to lean towards is this 4 hour time frame. It's looking pretty similar to what happened here. So I'm basically looking for, as long as we hold this 4 hour 21, I'm gonna look for a continued push up into that high, which is not far away at all. In terms of SPY value, it's about $3. $2.50 actually, so 25 points in the S&P. If we can get a pullback of about 30 points, I would love to take an entry right around this area. The closer to 5,600, the better. And I would love to take an entry right near that spot. So I like that key value right there. And of course, we'll keep an eye on the futures, see if we can get a little better entry. But that's what SPX is looking like. It's looking very bullish until we break this level here. Until then, I have no reason to believe that we're gonna move lower. But then we also have like probably that next level is going to be right around here at 5,500. So we'll want to keep an eye on that. And then as for a target, if we break out of the high, which personally, my bias doesn't matter too much, but I do think what we're going to see is probably a pop into this high. And then we're going to probably fail. So that's what honestly I'm thinking as of right now. And I do have a reason behind that. And that's because just a quick note, 1272 would be our next target, pretty much this 5,800 level. So we can go ahead and mark that out and add the extension. We go ahead and mark that out. So that'd probably be the next level if we do clear this high here. Holding this 786, that's a good sign. So we want to keep an eye on that as well. But yeah, so that's the stuff I'm keeping an eye on right now. Okay, so that's full analysis on the S&P 500. The reason why I think that we may pop up into this high, get some retail sucked in, and then break below and kind of move lower is simply because I don't. The reason I think that is because I think the put call ratio 10 SMA is going to move below 0.7 here pretty soon. I have videos on this explaining it. When we're below 0.7 with the 10 SMA, that means too many people are bullish and the market's going to correct. Vice versa, if we're above 1, that means too many people are bearish and we're going to probably have a move higher, which just to give you like a little bit of an example, the last time we were hanging out below that 0.7 was July 15th, which if we go look, when was July 15th? Right here, and then this signal the top of the market for this correction here. So I'm just looking for, okay, we're probably going to put in a multi-month top here in the next couple, I would say month, maybe 2. I think 2 is pushing it, but yeah, that is SPX. So that's the main thing. So same thing is for SPY. As for the NASDAQ, this thing is not looking as good as the S&P 500, but that is okay. It looks like we're building a little bit of a flag, pulling back into the 21 and building a flag. So that one looks okay. I'm not going to trade. I think this slingshot, or this is going to end up being a slingshot to the upside. I think this momentum is going to shift and probably shift to the upside and become a breakout pattern. And I think what will happen is I think that the NASDAQ will not reach new highs, but the S&P 500 will. Because we did see the Dow reach new all-time highs last week, and this is having strong momentum. And that's where I kind of want to segue into the next thing here, which is we take a look at these things with weekly squeezes, weekly buy signals. The Dow is one of them. And you can see here, we've got this key level right around 420-ish, 421. I'm expecting us to move up into that level. So I do think that's a good spot for us to continue into and maybe a pausing point for the Dow. If we take a look at the other sectors here, XLB is setting up pretty strongly with buy signals on the weekly, 3-day, and 2-day. But this one, I'm not going to chase it. We've already broke out this move. You don't want to chase this move. It's already kind of starting. So you kind of miss the boat unless it pulls back. I'd like to see a pullback back into probably like this previous resistance, now support. And then I do know we played this one way back here, played this move here. But this one still has a monthly squeeze, so this one has a lot of room to run, and it's just now breaking all-time highs. So with that monthly squeeze happening, we can probably see a clean move up into $100. I think that's pretty easy. But some things that tie in with the Dow, we can look at XLI, and XLI is probably the main one. So just a quick note, or let's go over XLI first. So XLI did have a weekly breakout. So this one had some buy signals on the weekly time frame and ended up popping off and making a new high with the Dow. They move pretty close together. Now this one had some buy signals on a few different time frames. We had buy signals on the 3-day, we had them on the 2-day, and we had them on the daily. Well, actually, no, we didn't have them on the daily, and it broke out in the weekly time frame. This is going to be good for stocks like GE. This one squeeze took forever to fire off, but finally did. And we should see a pop up into that new high and then potentially 180 and 185. But then, so XLI is a good looking sector. XLB also, those kind of home builders. So they're stuttering on my words here. The XLI, which is industrials, the home builders, and the materials are all kind of moving together, which you typically will see. They kind of all coincide with each other, right? You're building a house, you're going to need industrial equipment like Caterpillar, their moving equipment, stuff like that. Materials, obviously, you're going to need materials to build houses. They kind of all move similar to each other. So you can see here, we're trying to get a breakout in all-time highs on this name here. So I do like XHB. This is a great looking chart. Potentially, if we can get a flush down in here, I would love to buy some and catch this breakout. Okay. So, and then from there, XLC. So XLC, this is all what this is this is going to be pretty important in terms of the what happens with some of my favorite setups going into this week, which we'll go over, but you can kind of see the consistency of these signals for XLC. Buy signals, nice run up, buy signals, nice run up, buy signal, run up, buy signals, failed here with the rest of the market, sell signals, worked, buy signals, worked, buy signals, worked. And so I'm expecting the same here. So I'm expecting this to have a nice move to the upside and continuation. Now, this is going to be good for stocks like Meta. This requires Meta to move up. Like Meta has to move up for XLC to break out. Meta, great looking stock here. I think that any pullbacks should be bought based on how this chart looks. And we'll go ahead and set an alert at the right here. And then so that's Meta. If we go to Netflix, I think this chart actually looks a bit better. So this one's breaking out, hitting all-time high resistance, but this chart looks great. We've got this flag we're building here. The 4-hour time frame looks really good. I love to get a pullback on this one to potentially take an entry on this. So an entry on this one would be excellent. And I think we could see a nice move up into like 720-ish would be a pretty nice move for this one. So I like the idea we can move to 720. And then, I mean, the 1272 of that major retracement from before would be up here. So that's pretty far away, but I mean, it's Netflix. This thing can move. So I do like the idea that this thing can break out to the upside here soon. And then as for the other sectors, that's pretty much it in terms of like those higher time frame plays. IWM. So this one does look pretty good, but with rate cuts coming up, usually this will perform pretty well. Looks like it's finally breaking out of this base, but really, if you're going to play it, just buy time and play this monthly squeeze. You can see the red dots have already fired. Now we're into the black, so we're in lighter compression. So we probably will see it's starting to release this energy to the upside. As long as we hold above this range that we created here, there's good chance we're going to move up into new all-time highs. So I do like that. It's just a little bit of it needs to happen soon because rate cuts are coming, and then it's going to be a little harder for this thing to move up when the rate cuts are priced in. Okay, so that's IWM, and then that's really it in terms of sector setting up. So if I click here and we take a look at the 2 hour here, we've got a lot of 2 hour setups here. So we've got a lot of A plus setups on the 2 hour time frame from like regional banks, which this is going to have or help out with this is going to help out with what's the name IWM to push to the upside. Now I think that this is a great looking chart. This will be on my watch list for sure. I think that we could see a nice breakout on this one. We can kind of just take a look at a few of these. This one, you're going to need a pullback, but that coincides with that weekly. So that's a great looking chart. XLV, this thing has already been running. So, and you've got plenty of opportunities to get in. So if you wanted to get in, just wait for a pullback. It's came back to the 21 EMA or at least the 9 so many times. So that's a good looking one. XLU, 4 hour and 2 hour. We get a pullback on this. That's a great looking entry. And then let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm seeing here in terms of the markets. Overall stocks or well, these sectors, right? Now, some picks that look really good are going to be, if we take a look at LLI, or sorry, LII. This I believe has to do with the home builders. This chart looks good. We have this flush that happened, and then we got bought right back up. Now we're flagging again, kind of with the rest of the market. But you can see here we've got 2-day A plus, daily, 4 hour and 2 hour. So if we go to the 2-day, that's kind of the anchor chart, right? I would look for a pullback into this 8 EMA, and then look for a move for higher prices up into that 600. So this one does look a great looking chart. I believe the options are pretty thin on this, so you may have to trade it as shares. But I've got some other picks for you. So now this is a good looking one as well. We've talked about this one for quite some time. We were talking about it back in here. This one, not that liquid either, but I think a move to 900 is definitely in the cards. If we really price this out, we've got this weekly squeeze, which is the one that you kind of want to pay attention to. We go here. Yeah, well, we're almost at that 1272. So that first target is kind of 863, and then I think 900, and then 925. So that one looks great as well. If you can get in on a pullback right now, it's got that 4 hour squeeze, that daily squeeze, a lot of things going for it. And then spot, I think this is probably actually the best setup that I see right now. So we've got a weekly squeeze. This thing is super strong. We've got a 3-day, looks great. We've got a 2-day, and it looks great. We've got a daily, and it looks awesome. And we've got 4-hour A plus. So this one looks like it's ready to take off at any point. This one's a pretty choppy one, so you got to give it some time. But once it finally breaks out and that weekly squeeze kind of gets its move going, you can see here, weekly squeeze, huge move up. So weekly squeeze, huge move up, weekly squeeze, huge move down. So I like this one a lot. I think it's just a matter of getting a pullback entry and taking this one to the upside. So this one looks really, really, really good. What I'm going to do is set an alert. Let's take a look. Can we get a dip buy to that 21 here, or that not 8 EMA, 9 EMA? I think that would be a great entry point. Let's take a look at these other time frames. Yeah, I like that entry. So yeah, that's one to keep an eye on. And then I think besides that, EA, we played this one, caught 30%, went back to break even, and now you can see here it's finally about to make its move. So this one looks great as well. If we can get a pullback entry on this one too, I would like it. But yeah, this chart looks great. I think we can look for high prices on this one and look for that new high. And let's see. Yeah, we're up at all-time highs, which is pretty great for the stock. But yeah, so that's that. That's kind of the main things that I'm looking at into this week. Some other A plus setups here. KHC, I'm not going to trade this. GEHC, I don't know anything about this, but it does look pretty good. Weekly squeeze, slingshot action going on. Yeah, I like this one. I think this one could see upside prices too. It's just there's a lot of sellers sitting up on this wick right here after earnings. But nonetheless, the chart looks pretty good. And I would say that's the main stuff I'm watching this week, guys. So XLI, XHB, those are kind of the sectors you want to pay attention to. More immediate setups here would be those 2-hour setups, which we've got all across the board. XLC looks great as well, which that's going to help out Spotify as well. Best looking charts here, Spotify definitely ranks out the best. LII looks good. Dash also looks pretty good too. So we've got this daily squeeze, or we had earnings. It's nice run up. And then now it's looking like, okay, we've got some early entry buy signals. We're flagging. We've got a little bit of a slingshot action going on. We've got some buy signals on the 4-hour. I think that this one looks ready for higher prices as well. So, all right, guys, hope this helps. If you have questions, DM me in the chat. Those are the main charts I'm looking at. So if you really wanted to narrow it down and build kind of a watch list, we're looking at Spotify. We're looking at EA potentially. We can get a good entry. And then from there, we're looking at, what was that other one I just had pulled up? Dash. And those are kind of the main charts that I'm going to be paying attention to. And then as for the sectors, the ones that look great, I'm going to add Meta to that list. And then I'll keep an eye on XLI, XL or XHB. Those things, I need to pull back on those to take an entry. But right now, these are kind of the main ones that I'm liking going to this week. So hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you have questions.